So I'd like to welcome you all to this afternoon session for GSE UK, and you're on the IMS stream. That is stream or room 2, and it's session D. So this will be about cybersecurity risks and a bit about doing some real-time and after-event IMS analytics. All at the same time. Or now, to lead this presentation, we've got two presenters today. We've got Santos Belgunka and we've got Sahil Gupta, both from BMC. So in terms of structure, Sahil's going to start first. I'll give some introductions, and then Sahil is going to start, and then Santos will take over somewhere during the middle. Just as practicalities, just bear in mind this session is recorded, so it is something that we do so that we can record and then you can play them back if you've got the log on. So just please bear that in mind, and also please bear in mind that if you'd like to ask questions, then please unmute yourself and then ask that question. I don't have the chat facility on my PC, so essentially you need to, I'll put it so that everybody can unmute themselves during the presentation, and you just ask your question. That's no problem at all. I have kind of got notes up, but that doesn't seem to work very well either. But so without further ado, I'll hand you over to the first speaker. So that's going to be Sahil, and away you go, Sahil. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. So, yeah, hello everyone. Hope you can see my screen. I'm Sahil.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for confirming. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, because I know we will have the audience around the world. So, I'm Sahil Gupta, and I work as a product developer in BMC Software. And with me, we have Santosh Belgaonkar, who is also a product developer in BMC Software. Together, we will be presenting on a topic: deal with growing cybersecurity risks and do real time and after the event IMS analytics all at the same time. So for the rest of the presentation, I'll be going video off to save my bandwidth. And yeah, I'll just start with that. So let's first understand what is cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a critical field focused on protecting computer systems, networks, and data from digital attacks. So, in simple terms, we can say it's a practice to protect our computers from various kinds of attacks, which we will see later in the further slides. So, cybersecurity has become one of the top threats to the business growth nowadays. Here are some quotes from some people, famous people, which shows how important is cybersecurity in this digital world. So, like Tim Cook has said, the reality of today, from a cybersecurity point of view, I think some of the top people predict that the next big war is fought on cybersecurity. Likewise, Robert Mueller has said, he's the FBI director 2012. There are only two types of companies: those that have been hacked and those that will be. So this shows how important is cybersecurity in today's world. So now let's see how and why mainframes are still relevant and important. So still 71% of Fortune 500 companies use mainframes. Mainframes still handle 90% of all credit card transactions around the world. Roughly 1 trillion business transactions are still processed by mainframes. 60% of data available on the internet is stored on mainframes. Mainframes handle 60%, 68% of world's production IT workloads. So all this data shows us the dependence of mainframes on various industries, mainly the banking and insurance industries, we can say. So how secure is our mainframe? How many of us have thought we just passed a compliance audit, so everything must be secure, or mainframe can't be breached? It's unhackable. Have you thought event logs would show any security issue or threat of intrusion immediately? These are examples of a false sense of security that many mainframe professionals have. The fact of the matter is that mainframe is closer to the internet, applications, and credit card information than ever before. This is precisely the data that the hackers want. They need the banking information, all that kind of data, which is very important in today's world. Now you might be asking a different question: just how secure is our mainframe? So the mainframe can be hacked. Here are two examples when there has been some hacking and breaching in mainframes. Like in 2008 in Lexotica, LensCrafters suffered a mainframe breach, exposing nearly 60,000 employees' records from its US headquarters in Ohio, from an IP address in Arizona. Likewise, in 2012, the founder of Pirate Bay, the prominent hacker, Gottfried Waag, he hacked the mainframes of CSC and stole hundreds of thousands of Danish social security numbers, along with some important personal information stored in the mainframes. The mainframe platform holds the most important data in your enterprise and is known as the most secureable platform on the planet. But just because it is the most secureable platform on the planet doesn't mean that every mainframe is fully secure. We used to lock up the terminals, stop the control regions at night, and just hide the manuals. Those tactics don't apply anymore now. There have been incidents where mainframes have been hacked and breached, and these incidents are bound to increase with the growing proximity of mainframes to the internet and other applications. Here are some latest numbers on the data breach investigation numbers by Verizon, for which they have done some survey. They show that 74% of breaches include the human element, with people being involved either via error, privilege, misuse, use of stolen credentials, or social engineering. 83% of breaches involved external actors. 49% involved credentials, and 24% involved ransomware. In the chart, you can see on the right side the three primary ways in which attackers access an organization are stolen credentials, phishing, and exploitation of vulnerabilities. Here are some more numbers which shows the cost involved if an industry is breached or hacked. Security breaches are expensive to your business, both in dollars and reputation. So you can see on the left side, there are some numbers. It shows the mean time to identify a breach was 204 days in 2023. Also, the global average cost for data breach was around $4.5 million. The average total cost for data breach in US only was around $9.5 million. The percent of organizations planning to increase their security investments because of the breaches is around 51%. And the companies who had security capabilities, for them, around $1.76 million were saved. This was lower data breach compared to the other companies for which the security capabilities were not there. If you compare the different industries, you can see the numbers have been increasing. If you compare the 22 numbers with the 23 numbers, the healthcare sector was at the top of the chart. Also, BMC does some mainframe surveys every year, and you can see in the 2023 mainframe surveys, compliance and security were at the top with for the fourth consecutive year, and named by 61% of the respondents. 87% report that their ransomware controls are extremely or very effective. There was 5% rise in respondents who report using a dedicated mainframe security, information and event management solution. In the chart, you can see the security was at the top with 70% numbers. It was at the top of the four mainframe priorities of extra large shops. So SIM feeds the SOC Security Operation Center for everything on this slide. As you can see, their router switches, firewall, domain controllers, end user systems, mail exchange servers, web servers, or all of them are giving the real-time feed to the SIEM. But for the mainframe is at every 3 minute, and in some cases only at a night time feed. That leaves the door open for undetected breaches. IMS feeds might be even longer, maybe once an hour or even once a day. So we need IMS to feed real-time events to SIM like the other systems are doing. So what are the consequences of cybersecurity breaches? Cybersecurity breaches have many consequences on various industries. They do financial losses, they do reputational damage on the industries, they have operational disruptions, they do penalties and below the surface costs. Business may lose customers and revenue, tarnish their reputation and brand, or even face lawsuits and litigation. Another concern is that various rules and regulations require companies to maintain baseline levels of cybersecurity. If and when a breach occurs because those levels are not met, companies are subject to significant fines and fees, penalties, and even consequences. So that's why the cybersecurity is so important. Here are some sources of cybersecurity threats. Malware, phishing, and ransomware are the most common ones. So, what is malware? Malware is defined as a malicious software, including spyware, ransomware, viruses, and worms. According to a survey done by Accenture in 2023, the average cost of a malware attack is around $2.6 million. In phishing, the cyber criminals send malicious emails that seem to come from legitimate resources. And spear phishing is a special, more sophisticated form of phishing attack in which cyber criminals target privileged users, such as administrators or C-suite executives. Ransomware is a type of malware attack in which the attacker locks or encrypts the victim's data and threatens to publish or block the access to data unless a ransom is paid. APT, which is commonly known as Advanced Persistent Threats, is a sophisticated and stealthy cyber attack in which an unauthorized person gains access to a network and remains undetected for an extended period of time. SQL injection. SQL injection is a type of cyber attack that targets databases by exploiting vulnerabilities in SQL, which is structured query language commonly used in DB2 and other languages. This can lead to unauthorized access to sensitive data, data manipulation, or even full control of the database servers. So, what are the key aspects of cybersecurity in mainframe environments? Here you can see a diagram of SIEM, which is Security Information and Event Management Solutions, which can be Splunk, IBM QRadar, SolarWinds, or Logarithm. They actually collect, manage, and analyze security information and report on those events. Using a SIM to monitor system and database changes is critical to preventing or limiting the damage from malicious actors, whether they come from inside or even outside of the organization. So in the chart, you can see there are various feeds to this SIM, which could be log collection, log analysis, even event correlations, log forensics, real time logs, user activity monitoring, dashboards, reporting. So, so all these things are the feeds to SIM.
And can I just
So
clarify that this
yeah,
that they're all, you know, there are products available for all those kind of things. Um, I gather to
yeah,
do
I
that.
agree.
Yeah,
Right, right. There have been a lot of products available in the market for to do those things. You're
yeah.
completely right. Yeah.
Okay. And just for everybody that's in the audience, because some joined late, you can ask questions. So just unmute yourself, and then you'll be able to fire away. So thanks. Please continue. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for asking the question. So this shows, these numbers shows the world still depends upon IMS. Around 50 billion secure transactions are still processed by IMS. There's a lot going in IMS at the moment in every place. In a survey done by IBM, they announced that IMS had reached a revolutionary benchmark of 117,000 transactions per second. It becomes clear why IMS is becoming more and more target for devious access, because it's getting close to internet and other applications. Not just terminals accessing IMS. So growth in banking is happening in the mobile and personal banking components as well. Things like instant payment systems, real-time services, billing are increasing the amount of transaction processing every day. The mainframe and the IMS is where the data resides. And by providing access to all different kinds of systems and interfaces, the potential for unauthorized access increases. No longer are green screen terminals used for access logged in a secured area. A smartphone or web browser is now potential user or abuser also, because they can be easily breached or hacked by the cyber threats. So now the IMS is more connected than ever. More connectivity is very good news, but IMS, now over 50 years old, continues to preserve and perform very well in the modern world. There's some drawback to it. The drawback is that more access points to IMS services and data provides more opportunities for malicious access. With this small introduction on cybersecurity and how it can affect mainframes and IMS related businesses, I will hand over the presentation to Santosh to talk further on other things. Thank you. If anyone
Thank
has
you,
any
Sai.
questions,
Yeah.
you can let us know.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Santosh.
Okay. Okay. So far, we looked at like how mainframe integrates into our daily lives and the significant role IMS plays within it. Now, let's see how organizations can address cybersecurity issues within IMS. And also, we'll also talk about how they can ensure compliance with the regulations. Okay, so real-time monitoring. To ensure security, we must take immediate actions once we detect any threat or any suspicious activity. And for this, we must get real-time alerts about such activity. If there is no real-time alert, then there would be delay in response time. And by the time we take action, it might have caused significant damage. And this might result in financial and reputation loss to the organization. So real-time alert plays a crucial role here. And also many regulatory requirements mandate real-time monitoring and reporting of security incidents. And failing to meet these requirements results in penalties and fines. Okay. Now, if there is any fraudulent event occurs, any issues occurs, then we will have to go through all the IMS logs to figure out what exactly happened. But IMS logs are massive because IMS logs everything like any update, any inserts, deletes, etc. So it does it for the its own purpose, like for recovery purpose. But this causes like very massive logs, and it would be difficult to find out any specific records of our interest from these massive logs. Further, these logs are difficult to read and comprehend. It requires expert level knowledge to interpret and this information present in these logs. And one needs to know the type of log records, different fields, formats, and many things. Okay, so what's the solution? So here comes into picture the role of data extractor and analytics engines. Okay, so the slide here shows how we can implement cybersecurity for real-time processing. So in this diagram, we have this IMS control region, and which interacts with the database, and the data extractor, it gets data from the IMS control region. So what data extractor does, it will filter out the records as per the user's request, like user's interest. Like user can choose specific database records. They can filter out, like they wanted any specific data breach, like related record or security violation related records. They want to filter any specific database reads or updates, etc. Further, this data extractor feeds this converts this data into JSON or CSV format so that it can be processed by analytics engines. And analytics engines, it will show that data in a graphical format, which makes it easier to understand and analyze. Also, this users also can create rules in analytics engines to trigger alerts on certain conditions, like maybe security breach. Analytics engines further can would use this data for further like machine learning purpose or artificial intelligence based on those capabilities. Data extractor also generate the reports. So those could be very helpful for any analysis of any issues detected. Okay. In some cases, we might need to do after the event processing. So the slide shows here the after the event processing. Here, instead of data from IMS control region, we can use IMS logs, like system log data sets, as an input to the data extractor. The data extractor can use these logs and process this in the similar way as we discussed earlier in the for the real-time processing. So it will process the data and send it to analytics engines where we can see the it in graphical format and also generate the reports. Post-event.
Sorry, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
On the data, when you're doing the after the event processing, if you could do the one against the control region, the previous slide, is there not an overhead in doing that data extractor with the control region setup? And have you seen any what the overhead is?
Sorry.
Is there an overhead in taking that data extractor for the when you're doing it via the control region?
No, it will be a little or no, a very little overhead when we get a data from the control region.
Okay, and because it's my understanding is that normally logs don't get written for the reads. So how are we actually logging the reads?
Yes, we have the option to log the read type of records based on the user request, specifically for the specific database specified. We can do that.
Okay, so you have to specify it somewhere, and then that will get
Yeah,
generated.
because if we by default, if we go, then it will be a bigger overhead to that could cause the overhead in the control region.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no. So so the post-event processing can be very useful for audit and compliance purpose. And by analyzing these reports, we can identify any irregularities or detect potential instance of fraud or non-compliance. Okay, here this slide shows different data extractors and analytics engines in the market. Like we can see from the data extractor examples like SyncSort, IronStream, IBM, then BMC data stream for IMS. And then in analytics engines, there's a BMC Command Center, Splunk, Elasticsearch, etc. Okay. When we talk about security, there are some IMS log records that we can consider for monitoring. Like this is X10, X16, these log records. So the slide shows here IMS log records. X10, this is the security violation log record. And here we can see the normalized fields for X10 IMS log record. And we need to use data extractor to see fields in this format. This record indicates that the IMS detected a security violation. It tells the exact nature of violation. It specifies whether it is a terminal or program related. This log record has information about, say, IMS ID here. Then it will have also BTAM node, transaction code, etc., which will be helpful for any detection, like when we want to monitor any issue. So monitoring this log record would help detect any fraudulent activities. So and further in this list, we can also consider log record X16, which is about sign-on, sign-off activities. So, and it has information about IMS ID, user ID, timestamp, etc. Okay. So from security point of view, we need to monitor database update, deletes, insert. But apart from this, we also might need to monitor read activities for sensitive database. Like sensitive data, like bank details, credit card details, or personal information, all these details. So which needs to be protected from unauthorized access. So IMS alone does not, as Dominic mentioned, it does not maintain a log of such read activities. And like it will have log activities for insert, update, delete, etc., but not for the read activity. So we will need to use a data extractor for monitoring such read activity. And monitoring such sensitive database would definitely help prevent potential data breaches and ensure compliance with regulations. Okay. So here, this slide shows a screenshot from Analytics Engine showing the read activities provided by real-time IMS data extractor. It shows database access across various databases, like say banking or customer or loan database. And like we can see further more detail, like the number of counts and which are the related transactions when we click on the particular database. And on the right side, we can see the database read activities by LPAR. In this case, we see all the activities from a single LPAR, and here it shows the IP address for the LPAR. Here I have just used the dummy address 123.123. Similarly, we can track the read accesses by different users for different database. Further, we can track read activities for a specific database, like any sensitive database. Like say here we have considered banking database by different users. So in this case, for banking database, the user one, it has access around 3,000 times. User two has access banking database 1,600 times in the similar way. Similarly, we can monitor database update statistics for like here it shows screenshots for the banking, customer, or loan database updates. On the right side here, we can see the updates for the LPAS, and in this case, we see the updates are coming from 3 different LPAS. So here, these are the dummy numbers: 123, 123, then 111, 111, 222, 222. So here, and then also database updates by different users for different databases. Continuing with the same, we can also monitor database updates by different transactions, like for banking transaction, deposit transaction has made 7200 updates. For customer database update transaction has made 4995 updates. Okay. We can also configure analytics engines to specify specific security violations, like password not defined, or a user ID or transaction not defined, user access revoked, etc. So in this slide, it shows the analytics engine configuration for these different rules, like for these different security violations. So this will, like in this case, I can see like for password not defined, there are 4 violations. For user access revoked, there is 1 violation. And when we click on specific violation, we can see the further details. Okay, so in this case, it is showing for details like IP address where this event occurred, the message date and timestamp, and then further more details like which type of error, like password not defined or user not authorized, then transaction code, etc. Also, we can consider monitoring activities by different IMS user IDs or different sign-on terminals. So these are some examples for the same.
And can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
These ones looks like they were generally examples that were via transactions, perhaps, but can I just ask whether or not, you know, a BMP, for example, would it be able to track if someone was unlucky, if they got around in security and managed to actually submit a batch job to do something? So would this still track the BMP records as well as transactional records for MPPs, for example?
This is what data I have collected while doing the MPP, but I think BMP also it should consider it, but I can maybe confirm, maybe check and double check and get back to you. But this data, what I have screenshots I have taken, like the collected recorded for the MPPs.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
it should be possible. Yeah. Okay. We can also consider like creating the alerts for any specific violation or specific IMS activity. Like here, the slide shows the configuration to set an alert when there are multiple password violations within a span of 1 minute. Like this is specific to the thread Z IMS log message. This is specific to password violations in this case. And I've set the threshold as 1, like the count is 1 means if there is, and the interval is 60 seconds. If there are more than one event occurs related to the password violation within 60 seconds, then it should create an alert. So it will create an alert, a ticket, something like this. Like it will have all the details, date, times, and then it will say the actual, whatever the description we mentioned, like multiple password violation within a span of minute. And when we click on the links below, like related message, it will show all the details which triggered this alert. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit on the compliance part of our topic. So organizations must comply with the government set regulations. There are different regulations for different sectors like banking, healthcare, and other regulations like PCI DSS. It's a payment card industry data security standard, which protects customer financial information. HIPAA HIPAA, it's a Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This is a standard related which protects sensitive patient health information. Then we have GDPR, which is General Data Protection Regulation. It is EU regulation for handling personal data, etc. So the point is like organizations must comply with this different regulations. And we can use analytics engines like for this purpose. Like analytics engines can help like validating that they comply with this regulations. So this is one screenshot from the analytics engine where it has a dashboard which like in this case it is PCI DSS. It validates the related rules for this compliance. So, and this different tabs here, it shows like different rules set and whatever the data it is getting, and if that is valid, and they validate it, whether it is pass or fail. So for example, so this is in this case, this is related to like the validation that do not use vendor related supplied defaults for system password and other security parameters. And then it has got, say, in this case, 5313 messages. And then it also shows the history of the past messages. And then it has validated it. It shows status if it is okay. And when we click on these below links, like it will show the details of actual messages which has validated. In this case, this is one of the message shown. This is IMS log type 3 record. That is IMS output message, which is part of this data. Okay. Also, reports generated by data extractor would be helpful for adherence to compliance and regulations. Data extractor can generate reports that document security violations like sign up events, or even we can like based on the user request, we can also log any sensitive database read activities or any specific database update activities. And that can be used for the auditing purpose or validating any compliance regulations. So on the screen shown, like this report shows some violations like user or transaction not defined, password not authorized, access revoke, further like the timestamp, and then VTIME terminal name, user ID, etc. So analyzing these reports, like organizations can identify any irregularities and potential issues within the system. And then organizations can implement appropriate security measures based on these reports to ensure compliance and regulatory adherence.
And can I just ask another question,
Yeah.
if
Yes.
that's all right? Sorry.
Yeah.
With the analytic, with what we're doing, obviously that's giving details of specific violations, if you like, and then for the if you had the control region and you were reading the control region, would you be able to put in do filters for example, in your logo 1 and logo 3s for particular data types? So I'm thinking of, for example, could we actually put say our account name in it for a user or something like that, for the actual data itself? And can we do a search on that, down to that kind of level?
As of current, what I see, we can give filter criteria like the database name, and then further whether any specific update activity or read activity. But to the point where you are saying the specific account number or account name, I think that maybe we directly on the data extractor we might not will be doing, because that will be like we might need to do the further check at that level, micro level. It is not done.
Okay.
Maybe once it generates a report, something like this, in that we can filter out the specific customer ID or name or something.
Yeah.
Because I can show the further report. Maybe that helps. That might help you. Let me
Okay.
show.
Yeah.
So
So yeah. I mean, sorry. What I was thinking was, yeah. So just to clarify, that was in the data portion of the logo 1 or logo 3 record. So it's user data essentially that I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So this slide shows the this same mainframe file, but this is just that CSV. This is a CSV file, comma separated. So this is just converted into the Excel format. So this provides better readability to users. And as you mentioned, like here, like we can filter then specific, in this case, like say, if there is a field, specific field, the customer ID or customer name, here we can add that filter and specific account number to get related data. So,
Thank you.
so yeah. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover in this session. So if anyone has any questions, please let us know.
Yeah. So on the actual setup for say doing it in against a control region. So have you got, maybe go back to one of the slides where you got that diagram, but is it usually a started task that runs in the background to actually do that monitoring, for example?
In this
So
case, data
yeah,
extractor,
yeah, for the data,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Whether it's the after event one or the one before, the one in the
Sorry,
previous
yeah.
slide.
This is this one, yeah.
So
yes.
the data extractor, is that like a started task that runs against the control region?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
And as we were sort of alluding to, we think that there is a bit of an overhead. Well, certainly if you're trying to switch on reading, for example, I presume. But does that actually slow down any of the processing within the control region, or is that could that have the ability to do that, and therefore you might have to switch it off? Or do you know whether there's been issues with that or something to consider, for example?
No, as of like what I understand, like there is a definitely little overhead, but we like it is architect in the way, like So if we will maybe a better loser that extracting the data instead of giving the overhead to the IMS control region. So it should have a minimum overhead. That is what we think. And for that reason only, like even for the specific reads or something, we specify the specific database. We don't want to extract all the data information, read activities, log all the read activities, because it will be a much of overhead.
I guess.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Maybe if you're more like you need more clarification, we can connect offline. Then maybe someone from our team, maybe our architect, clarify your doubts better than me.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was thinking was the after event processing. Then you've got the data extractor there, and then an analytics engine. So that'll presumably you could then look at behavior of you might be able to monitor the behavior of a transaction and how many reads they're getting and that kind of thing. So it's more you'd be able to build up a picture of what that behavior could be, because a lot of how do I say, I would think a lot of fraud is not just necessarily one-offs necessarily. It could be actually a change in behavior, if you like. So I guess that's probably where the after the event processing is, where we've got the ability to do analytics for maybe a long time after the event, and we could then pull off reports for behavior, for example. Just thinking holistically that that's probably the benefit there.
Yeah, that is the benefit in this case. Like some cases, like here we can use Slate's data sets. So as you say, if you do not want to use the real-time event processing.
So has anybody got any more questions for Sahil or Santosh? And the slides will be available, obviously. So this is recorded and will be available afterwards. And I think you had the QR code, didn't you, for the
I'll just go to that
at the end. But has anybody got any questions or any thoughts that they'd like to share with us on this subject? It'd be gratefully received. Just unmute yourself. We've got a little bit of time left. I mean, certainly it's a subject that maybe a lot of people don't want to talk about too much if they're talking about their own shops. But certainly we're, every shop is different, but we do have some things that we're looking at on this kind of front. But I think, the behavioural aspect is quite an interesting topic, I think. But where you're having to measure, like where you were saying that, oh, if the password's been reset or violations, it's like sometimes what you don't know is, if the person's actually logged on and doing something and they don't trigger any of those, then it is down to sometimes the behavior aspect that's a bit different. Whereas, if someone's trying to access it and then we're getting the violations every time, then we know that they've tried to access it and obviously they didn't succeed. But obviously what you don't want is where you were saying the slide, one of the slides was, I groaned at this when you said sometimes it takes, 200 days to actually see the fact that there's an issue. I thought that was quite enlightening, and maybe the behavior aspects we need to be better at looking at the behavior aspects of it and the analytics afterwards, perhaps. Anybody else want to share what they think? Just unmute yourself. No, that's okay. All right. Well, thank you very much for your attendance, everybody, and thanks for doing these sessions, the shared sessions this afternoon, and a bit late for you going into the evening now in India. Got the QR code there for feedback, so that would be gratefully received if you can fill that out by pointing your mobile at that and getting the link. We've got some sessions, exciting sessions tomorrow. We've got 3 more sessions tomorrow and then 2 on Thursday. So bright and early 9 o'clock tomorrow will be the next one. Thanks very much for your attendance, everybody. And these slides will be available for record purposes later on. So because you registered, you'll be able to get those. So thanks very much, everybody, for your attendance, and have a good rest of your day. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you, Santosh and Sahil. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.